Pites, welcome back to the channel. In this video we're going to take a look at an article that David Ornstein's wrote on The Athletic. The headline says, Liverpool's transfer window, no short-term signings, represents a major gamble. After a summer of frantic activity, Liverpool took the opposite approach to this season's winter transfer window. Despite the struggles head coach Arne Slot and his team had endured in defending their Premier League title, they decided not to try to fix things through the market and have put faith in the current squad for the rest of the campaign. That comes with risks, as Liverpool face a battle to secure a Champions League spot next season with an injury-hit set of players that was already lacking depth in certain areas. They did end the window with a bang as they have confirmed the signing of French youth international Jeremy Jacquet for an initial 55 million, which will see the defender join the club ahead of the 26-27 season campaign. But many fans will be concerned at the lack of immediate incomings. See, I'm the same here. So what worries me is we didn't sign a centre back, did we? I know we got Jacquet, I know we got a few kids, but we're down to the bare bones. I'm very, very surprised. Even if they'd have brought somebody in on loan, it just made sense to me. I don't understand why they didn't bring a centre-back in. I mean, it's not just a centre-back situation either. We're struggling at right-back as well, aren't we? I know we've got Calvin Ramsey, but he's not really played for the first team in the Premier League. That's the issue. I mean, could you really throw Calvin Ramsey in this weekend against Man City? You know, he would really struggle, wouldn't he? So I'm very surprised. Liverpool entered January expecting a quiet transfer window, and that's exactly what it was. So on a fundamental level, it can't be considered a failure. However, when you look at the limited size of their squad, the failure to strengthen key areas leaves them in a precarious position. It only needs one or two more medium to long-term injuries on top of those that have happened already, and a player pool that is on the limit could be pushed over the edge. Yeah, because when you look at our bench now, it's so young, isn't it? They did make a late attempt to add a right back. Well, it says right back on here, but it's a right back and centre back in Lucharel Gertrude, who is on loan at Sunderland, but the complicated nature of the deal meant they were unable to get it over the line. At least their summer business has started positively. However, with the early addition of centre-back Jacquet from Rennes, how much did they spend and how much did they bring in? While 3.5 million was invested in youngsters, there were no incomings or outgoings to their first team squad. The signing of 20-year-old Jacquet for a deal that may rise to 60 million will be part of Liverpool's summer spend. Andy Robertson's proposed move to Tottenham in a deal that could have risen to around 5 million was called off after Liverpool decided they were not prepared to sanction the exit. I'm glad they didn't sanction it. I mean, there was rumours, wasn't there, about Tsimikas, but Roma wouldn't let him come back. The long-serving 31-year-old, who is out of contract at the end of the season, saw his potential moves shelved largely due to the club's difficulties in recalling fellow left-back Kostas Tsimikas from his season-long loan at Roma to provide cover. Roma wanted a satisfactory replacement signed before letting Simicast return, which is fair enough. Everyone's in the same boat, aren't they? Harvey Elliott's situation at Aston Villa, where he is on a season-long loan, remained unchanged in the end. Elliott started their most recent Europa League fixture last Thursday, but has already been but has rarely been in Unai Emery's matchday squads. With no recall clause in last summer's deal, the ball was in Villa's court to negotiate a possible return to his parent club for the 22-year-old midfielder, but they were not prepared to incur that financial cost. So then it goes on to say about who we've signed, which we already know. Jacquet, Ndiaye and Ndunkwe. Here we go. So here's a bit here. So it says, were there any deals they wanted to do that didn't get over the line? So we know about Mark Gahey, don't we? So it says Mark Gahey was astonishingly close to becoming a Liverpool player in the summer, and there was an expectation that the situation could be revisited in January. Instead, Manchester City ended up signing the 25-year-old England international from Crystal Palace, with Liverpool deciding not to pursue the deal as it did not make financial sense for them. Then it goes on to say that the club didn't want to make any signings that, just for the sake of signing players, which is fair enough. The only other one was Gertruda, which we know about. And then it goes on to say about, are there still any obvious gaps in the team? Well, we already know this, don't we? But let's see what it says. Where do you want to start? After the Gahey deal fell through and summer signing, Giovanni Leone was lost long-term to an anterior crucial ligament knee injury. Liverpool have been light at the back. Joe Gomez has been the only backup to starters Van Dijk and Konate. Another issue has been the lack of depth in wide areas after they decided not to directly replace Luis Diaz. That was a massive mistake for me. When he was sold to Bayern Munich in the summer, outside of Cody Gakpo and Mohamed Salah, Slot has Federico Chiesa, who he is reluctant to use, and 17-year-old Rio Ngamoa, who is managing carefully due to his age. Florian Wirtz has played on both flanks and Frimpong on the right, but those are not their preferred positions. The struggles of both Gakpo and Salah for form have not helped, but the squad is also lacking certain characteristics, including pace and one-on-one duel winners. Right back has been a persistent problem because of injuries to Conor Bradley and Frimpong. The former is not expected to play again this season after suffering knee bone and ligament damage at Arsenal in early January. Frimpong is out with a groin injury, which is more of a short-term issue. Do they have the squad to achieve their goals for this season? It's going to be a tight one, and it's like it said earlier in the article. If, for example, I don't know, Salah gets injured or Ekitike is injured, we haven't got another striker. We are going to struggle. We need to keep everybody fit. I don't blame Arne Slot for doing his rotations. I really don't. He's got to do something, hasn't he? It's like he said in an interview. It's always the same players week in, week out. He's having to give people days off and stuff to rest. Like, tell them they don't need to train and just concentrate on rehab, keeping themselves fit. Slot is up against it as he is working with a relatively small group of players. Champions League qualification for next season is crucial, and the hope is they can make a deep run in that competition this season. Having finished third to qualify directly for the round of 16, where a tie against one of Atletico Madrid, Club Brugge, Galatasaray or Juventus awaits in March. So that's two good teams and two very capable teams, isn't it? So you've got Atletico Madrid and Juventus, good teams, and then you've got Club Brugge and Galatasaray, who are very, very capable teams. You don't get to the last 16 of the Champions League and be a shit side, do you? Will the head coach be happy? At his press conference on January the 7th, ahead of the FA Cup tie against Barnsley, Slot was asked about whether he felt there was significant depth in the squad and if reinforcements were required. First of all, I'm really happy with the squad we have, Slot answered. All the decisions that are made last summer and the summer before and all those things are completely aligned with me and Richard, the club's sporting director and ownership. I think it has shown this season how talented this group is, and if everyone is available, how good a team we can be. What will their priority be in the summer? Central defence was an area that needed addressing, and Liverpool have been proactive by securing the signature of Jacquet. That was important because there continues to be no progress on a contract for Canate. He is set to become a free agent in the summer. Further additions in that area may be required, with Van Dijk another year older. He turns 35 in July. And because of Gomez's lengthy injury history, adding wingers will also be high on the off-season to-do list. And we've mentioned Liverpool are short of options at those positions already, and there remains uncertainty over Mohamed Salah's future after the comments he made in December about the club throwing him under the bus. He will turn 34 in the summer. Here we go, this is quite interesting. Will they have money to spend in the next window? Yes, although they have already dipped into it. While they spent 450 million on signings last summer, Liverpool also recouped over 200 million through player sales. As they remain in a strong PSR position, they also generated 702 million in revenue, according to analysis from financial firm Deloitte. How much they can spend may depend on the outcome of this current campaign. So there you go. Their full list of ins and outs. So in, Mortala and Dye for 1 million. And Dunkwe for 2.5. Adikoya from Burnley. Out, James Norris to Shelbourne undisclosed. Luke Chambers to Charlton on loan. Lewis Kumas to Hull on loan. Callum Scanlon to Cardiff on loan. So there you go. That's just a little bit of a deep dive into Liverpool's transfer business over the last 12 months. I mean, we know that they spent a lot of money. You know, it just annoys me when you go onto read an article, or you go onto Sky Sports News or TalkSport or whatever, and they're always saying, "Oh, Liverpool spent 450 million." What they don't mention is, though, we've brought in over 200 million. They don't say that. You know, they just say how much we've spent. You know, and if you've brought in 700 million, you've only spent 250 million. You know, some clubs spend that every summer. every year without a doubt. You know, especially Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea. Nobody talks about them, do they? Nobody says, oh, Man City have just gone out and spent 65 million on Semenyo, you know, 30 million on Mark Gay. You know, they're always spending money. Just give Erling Haaland a new 10-year contract. He's on £500,000 a week or whatever. You know, I think wages should come into PSR a lot more, because there's no way Man City should be getting away with these 125 breaches or whatever it is. But we're not talking about Man City on here. I'm just saying people don't talk about the actual income, money brought in. It's always money spent. Let me know in the comments. Do you think we've done the right thing by signing Jacket for the summer? Or would you have preferred to spend a little bit more? Maybe 70 million, 75 million, and brought him in now. That's it for this video. Take it easy.